Hello everyone, so Justin is away doing his fireman training, so he's been very brave and volunteering for an entire week. That means that we're going to have DIY wife week, which is very exciting. So while Justin's away I'm stealing all his tools, and today we're going to be crawling under the house facing the rain because it's absolutely tipping down outside, and trying not to drown under our house. Okay, so this is a toolkit that I'm going to be taking underneath the house. Excuse my messy table. So I've got my junction boxes with the holes pre-cut out and a lid to go with. 3 of them. If I need more, I'll just crawl back under there and do some. Handy dandy pen for writing on wire and on my hand for all the things I forget. These are called I call these chocolate boxes, but I think they're called something like electrical terminal connectors. I had a devil of a time looking on Trade Me for them because no one files them under chocolate box. Blind wire just for shits and giggles. This is electrical stripper wire strippers. They're very cool. These are Dad's and super handy. These have got the cutters, crimpers, and then that's your stripper up the top all in one. So that means a couple less tools. I've got little, these are actually computer screwdrivers, but they're really handy because they're small. Always take a Stanley knife with you because you never know what's under there and what you need to cut through. I've got, these are cable tidies. You nail one of these into the wall and then you fold them over because they're only like cheap aluminium, and they tidy the cable. I got them out of a shop we used to own a few years ago and we got like 1,000, so I've never bought them, but we just own a million of them, which is good. I always take screws with me because again you never know and I'm not crawling back in and out. Cable ties for just general tidying. Pliers, because if you're joining anything together you want to twist that wire really well. And then good old safety electrical tape in blick. So yeah, under the house we crawl. Alright, so here we have one I've done earlier. So this is going through the floor. Drill the hole down there. And then this is just, please excuse Lydia, this is just really, I'm going to say cheap, but it's bloody not cheap, electrical conduit, and I have sprayed it with copper spray paint because we're going for a copper theme in the house. And then these, just nice boxes, got that off Trade Me, and what you want to do is leave enough wire that you can strip a donkey load of it and then wire that plate in when you come to it. So I am dressed in old clothes. I do have overalls, but I forgot to wash them last time, so here we go. And tights, old shoes, which I'm going to replace soon, and one of Justin's t-shirts because he's not here and can't tell me no. The reason for this is because it's Scody underneath my house and cats poo under there, like all the time. It's ridiculous. And I don't want to wear anything that I'll ever wear again. So if you're going under houses, disposable clothing is definitely mandatory. So before I start, what I'm doing is, this is my circuit breaker up here, and as you can see I've got 2 on. One is to the lounge, and the other one is just to this one plug at the moment, and then I've got a spare that's turned off. That's going to be for the bedrooms. So the one I'm doing today is the middle one, and I'm going to connect this plug here. This is going to go down through the floor, back up, swing to that plug behind the door, and it's also going to go down through the floor and pop up and do the washroom as well. So that's just going to be my washing machine. It's only a 20 amp plug, but I don't run a fridge in this house on electricity, so we don't need a bigger fuse for it, so that's good. What I'm going to do is put a wire down through this hole here. You can just see it there. And I just need to make sure that I've got enough wire left up here that I can connect this box and the new wire that's going down. And twist it all together in the back of this. Always best to leave yourself way more than you think you need, because you can't undo it without going back under the house if necessary. So there you see my excess at the top, and we poked it all the way down in the hole down there, and I'll put that conduit on before I twist everything together, which is the way you're supposed to do it, because afterwards it's a lot more painful. I'm sort of guesstimating this one because I don't have the box for it yet, so all I've done is I've got my excess and I've shut it in the washing machine, and then I know that it'll reach sort of above the washing machine and in the future imaginary cupboard, and that's just poked through the floor. I've got underfloor, so that makes everything a little bit harder, so I have to go underneath and cut the underfloor out the way before I can do it all, but it does keep us warm, so who's to complain. Also while I'm under there I'm going to be doing this excellent home plumbing job. Please don't laugh at me. my really expensive sink and my $3 worth of plumbing supplies. So this goes just through the floor. I'm currently not connected to anything, but I've got a down pipe going to the sewage tank down there. So all I have to do is push those together and she'll be right. Alright, safety first, kids. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the solar. It's just a nice big button here. And then on my display, this is a 3 kilowatt inverter and MPPT controller. That means that this takes the solar power, puts it into my big batteries, and then also pulls it out and puts it into my house, which is good. And then this says that the solar is charging the batteries, but the batteries is not supplying the house. And then we've also got 0-volt output. So that's good news. I am also fearfully afraid of spiders, so I've got 2 hairnets on. So they can't crawl in my hair and crawl in my ears. There's a lot of spiders under there. Like, there's not a huge amount, and they're not giant shelobs, but it's all the daddy long legs now that you can sort of feel on you for about 6 days afterwards. And I'm now going to squeeze my generous self through this teeny tiny hole. Oh jeez. Alright, I got halfway under, and as you can see, it's about 2.5 inches deep under there. So, you know, not today, thanks. I will come back when it's a bit drier. That wire there, by the way, is not me. That is dead wire, and I will cut that out eventually. Alright, welcome to my cupboard of shame. In here is a whole bunch of stuff, which is ironically enough mostly Justin's. And will live with us forevermore, no doubt. But I do have some very nice lights. Right, I did have 3 of these, but I chopped into one a while ago, and now I need to fix it. So for now, I'm going to put this lovely copper light bulb in its fancy shade. They're going to go into the kitchen. They're going to go up there, probably there and there, in a straight line as opposed to off center like the old ones. And they'll just illuminate the messy kitchen bench, which I will clean at some point, probably not. And there's Lydia, she's just chilling out. Here we have our light fitting. Max 40 watt E27. 40 watts really good because, I mean, other light bulbs are like 6 watts each. The less wattage you put out and in LEDs you get like illumination. It's not quite wattage, but anyway. Lux, there you go. You get a higher lux for less watts, which means that you get lots more brightness for less power input, which is good in the middle of the night. This says a qualified electrical contractor, and I'm totally qualified because I watched how to do it on YouTube, so that's legit. Okay, so first things first with this is we need to remove this silver bar, and that gets screwed to the ceiling. It's got little things on, so all you do is undo that. Screw that to the ceiling where you want it to hang, and Bob's your uncle, then you sort of wire it in. I have got shiny new screwdrivers for this job, but I have a coffee first because I'm going to be climbing ladders. Alright, so what I've done is I've just opened the little box that it came with the 4 screws, and in it is a really simple little chocolate box which we discovered earlier, and that's just brown wire and a blue wire, I think. So what we're going to do is, I don't want mine nearly as long as all this cord I've given, so I'm going to chop this off anyway. I'm probably going to chop it off about here-ish, and then I'm going to put this chocolate box back on, and then this gets connected to my house wire, and I'm just going to put this on a plug for now because I don't know how to do light switches yet. So that means that you just switch the plug on the wall like you would a lamp. So basically I'm installing lamps instead of proper wired in lights, and that makes life a lot easier. So here we go. Also, one thing to note, I'm not going to cut this until I've seen it on the ceiling up there, till I know what sort of hang I actually want. So don't get all cocky and think that, oh, I'll just chop it off now, she'll be right. Because if it looks dumb, you can't put it back on very nicely. So what I've got is I've got my ceiling attachments. These clip up and the silver bar goes in here. Now because I'm not going into my roof and dropping a wire down, I need to go along the roof with more. I'm going to put conduit in eventually, but for now it's just going to be a normal wire. So what I've done, and they're a bit ugly because I've made big cuts in the side of this crap steel basically. And all I've done is I've used my nippers to cut in the edge, and then my handy dandy finger linisher just to take off those sharp burrs so nothing sort of digs into that steel. And trick is I've got 2 lights going in. I've got a far light and then a middle, sort of a middle light, and then it goes to the plug. So that means I need 2 holes in this one because the far light's going to go in, join, and then go out. And then I only need 1 hole in this one, which is the end one. But again, to note that this is going to go in to the silver thing, and the wire's going to come in from the side. So you don't want to put the wire hole into the actual, hold it up to the ceiling hole. So like, it might not affect you in any way, but it is one of those things that, hey, take a minute to have a coffee, have a sit down, have a plan, because if you make a great ugly big hole in the wrong place, it's not going to get filled with a big wire, and you'll always have to look at it. And you can't buy these anymore because I got them on special from the warehouse, so you can't replace it. So yeah, all you can do is really have a good think about what you're about to do before you start anything DIY, just in case it does look absolutely awful in the end. So I'm up the ladder, got my Phillips head screws, this is the other one, and all I've done, of course the old drill bit, is I've gone up here. So I've put that one board in between the thing, and that gives me a nice straight line. So then I'm going to follow that all the way over there. I'm going to do it over there as well, and that will be above the bench, which I will clean. I keep saying that. Now here we have it all nicely wired up, and we've got the correct colours. So neutral blue to black, and then live brown to red. Just really pay attention to that when you do wire your own stuff. Otherwise you'll electrocute yourself, and that's super not fun. So this is ready to put the cap back on and then install into the ceiling. Ta-da! So shiny! So I've just tightened that. There's my lovely cable, which I'm going to secure with the cable tidies. And woohoo! Makes a great noise, and then my light bulb goes in here. Oh, I'm really excited. I think that's going to cast a really nice light. I'm going to go for a 6,000 lumen 3 to 7 watt bulb, which means that the whole set of 3 will only be about 14, 21-ish volts all up, which means I can power them all night without affecting the system, which is excellent. Here we go. I very skillfully put this wire together and have just realised that it is not inside this piece. So even though I said think really carefully before you do everything, I stuffed up again. Oh well. Okay, so I've changed my mind, and I'm doing 3 now because I've fixed the other one. So what I'm doing here is I'm combining 2 red wires and 2 black wires like that, and then I'm going to put them into, where is it? Hang on, I'm up a ladder, so this is real tricky to do. I'm going to put them into this end here, into this thing, which I've cut another hole out of, and then I'm going to put all of that into the ceiling, and then it'll go from, instead of this one to this one, which I still haven't done, it'll be this one to this one to this one, so it's going to be a triangle. Okay, I've got 3 up. That sucked a lot more than I thought it would, to be honest. And I've screwed up on this one again. So, oh well, that's life. But they seem to be all pretty much the right height to each other as well. So hopefully the light effect looks good. Okay guys, so in the background you can see my lovely light. I think that's me done for the day. It's still a little bit early, but I've got a lot of cleaning up to do. Because I've scattered plastic bits all over the floor, and when you have a baby, she's going to eat all of that stuff. So I'll pick that all up. I'll get to the house, underneath the house, as soon as it dries out a bit more. But it is super wet under there, and I will probably drown trying to crawl under there, so I'm going to avoid that. As always, like and share. Check out our Patreon page, because there's a couple of tutorials on there that don't go out to public, so that's your $10 a month tier. So it's bugger all money, come on people. And we'll be releasing the Armour reveal video this afternoon, as soon as I can get the internet to work to get it back up. Have a good one guys, bye.